We have some big weather events coming up in Europe, so thank you for tuning into my latest forecast on this final day of September 2025. Not only will I be breaking down the potential impacts that are to come for us, but I also wanted to show you what's going on with Tropical Storm Imelda close to the United States and Hurricane Umberto, which became the second Category 5 hurricane of the season just a couple days ago. To begin, let's quickly pick up where we left off in the last video. The focus of that special forecast was Hurricane Gabrielle, since it was expected to directly impact the Azores Islands and even make its way towards mainland Europe. The Portuguese Weather Service wrote in a report after the storm that the strongest wind gust recorded close to sea level was 154 kilometers per hour, and a gust of 185 kilometers per hour was recorded at a higher elevation. By the time Gabrielle reached mainland Portugal on Saturday and Sunday, it looked very impressive on satellite imagery, but since the storm was continuing to weaken, both the rain and wind were not too severe. I observed strong wind gusts mainly during the afternoon hours on Sunday, with some notable sea agitation mainly during the morning. Then on Monday, Gabrielle was just about gone, but the last little bit of this system was just enough to kickstart a dangerous rainfall event across the Mediterranean coast of Spain. So now that brings us to today, Tuesday, September 30th. There are still some lingering storms around the Balearic Islands and eastern Spain, but any flash flood risk will be just about gone by tonight. But here comes the first big weather event of the week emerging by Wednesday, October 1st in the Ionian Sea. A cold air mass is going to be bleeding out of the Balkan Peninsula and spilling out into the warm Mediterranean as a new area of low pressure develops. This is going to bring very beneficial but potentially problematic rain across most of Greece and other southern Balkan countries on Thursday and Friday, and since we did have that cold air moving in right before, this moisture is going to be coming in the form of very heavy snowfall in some of the higher elevations. Between Friday and Saturday, precipitation is going to be clearing out from the west as this system works its way north and east into Turkey and the Black Sea, but once it gets past this point, it shouldn't be much of a concern. That gives us a good opportunity to switch over to the tropics, since both Imelda and Umberto will play a significant role in the second big weather event of the week that I mentioned in the beginning. First off, Imelda is taking a sharp turn towards the east and it's likely going to reach hurricane status today. It's interesting because weather models were leaning towards the system having major impacts across the southeastern United States, and of course this possibility caused a wave of misinformation and hype to spread across social media. It's very important to consider all of the elements at play, instead of jumping straight to the worst case scenario, which in this case was averted. Anyways, even though the United States is fortunate to miss this blow, the small island of Bermuda is now in a precarious situation, with the center of Imelda possibly passing very close, maybe even trying to make a landfall by Wednesday or Thursday as a strong hurricane. I'll be watching this very closely, but let's now talk about Hurricane Umberto, which is actually very close by. It's passing somewhat close to Bermuda today, but not really enough to have significant impacts, which means that this hurricane is basically going to remain a fish storm, a term given to tropical systems that have little to no effect on land. Despite this, Umberto is still very important to the forecast because not only is it pulling Imelda away from the United States, but as this hurricane crosses the Atlantic Ocean and undergoes extratropical transition later this week, it's likely going to do so in a very explosive manner at some point. If this does indeed reach Europe at this intensity or explosively intensifies once it's already in Europe's vicinity, Ireland and the UK, and perhaps Scandinavia could face widespread strong to damaging wind gusts and heavy rainfall, so make sure you are closely monitoring the forecast in the coming days. Here's a look at the total precipitation across Europe through Saturday. Starting over in the Balkans and Turkey, widespread heavy rain looks most likely in the lower elevations of Kosovo, Romania, Serbia, and Bulgaria, with some other scattered locations in Turkey, Greece, Albania, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Bosnia, and Italy seeing some higher rainfall amounts as well. And then over in northwestern Europe, Ireland, the UK, Iceland, and southern Norway should take the brunt of this incoming precipitation. Some flooding issues may arise, especially in the orange and red shades. For everywhere else, not much rain is expected, so that definitely helps highlight these two main weather events that we've talked about throughout the video. Here's another graphic worth showing. The amount of snowfall that some places in the Balkans will get is quite remarkable for this time of the year, with all of this precipitation coming in right as temperatures drop as much as 15 degrees below average. This is going to lead to hours and hours of heavy snowfall in the higher terrain, leading to as much as 70, 80, 90, and even 100 centimeters of snow within days. To put into perspective how out of place this is, much of Northern Europe, a big part of Asia, and even much of Canada will remain completely snow-free for the same time frame. Autumn can really be an impressive time of the year for weather since we really start to see those intense clashes and shifts between summer's end and the approach of winter, so make sure you do subscribe if you are new to the channel. I'll be keeping you updated on dangerous weather events in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you all for watching this report, and please enjoy the featured media slideshow.